My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
I was halfway through watching it last night, and I said to
You texted me like, what have you done to me? Why have you picked this? I was like, I'm so sorry, I hadn't watched it yet at that point last night. I hadn't finished it. I was like, what have I done?
Thank you very much for listening, guys. This is episode 115 of Flixwatcher Podcast. Hey everybody, and welcome to this episode of Flixwatcher Podcast. Today, Helen and I are joined by Andy.
hello.
And Ciara.
Hi.
From the Wooden Overcoats podcast.
Fan of the show? Make sure you follow us on Twitter at FlixWatcherPod. Visit the website flixwatcher.tv for full listings and hit subscribe wherever you find your podcasts.
Just to let you know, guys, all films were available on Netflix UK at the time of recording. Please note, there will be some bad language and there will be spoilers.
Hello, film fans. Joining us today, we have Ciara and Andy, and we are here to review B-Movie. But first, tell our listeners about the podcast that you do, please.
We are part of Wooden Overcoats, which is a comedy podcast sitcom about two rival funeral directors on a Channel island called Piffling Vale, which doesn't exist, but it should do.
It should do. I'd like to visit. I'm the producer on the show, and Ciara plays the lovely Georgie, who is, the
badass Georgie.
The badass.
Badass
Yeah.
Georgie.
I say lovely.
Part of the Fun Funerals family, I guess.
Yes, I'm the assistant to Antigone and Rudyard Funn, who were the only funeral directors on the island, but then along came Eric Chapman.
We have had a fair few Wooden Overcoats people on this here show. We've had Chappers and Rudyard.
Mm-hmm.
Chappers and Rudyard.
I've had Antigone and also writer David K. Barnes have been on here show. So
also Dr. Edgware in the series.
Dr. Edgware, okay, I didn't know.
He writes himself in every series to come in and tell off his main characters. It's his favourite thing.
Well, that's what I do. That's why you get like directors who do the cameos, isn't it? And writers.
Yeah.
Sitting on park bench guy.
Multi-talented.
Yeah. You're on your third season and you're doing live shows and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah.
Tell us how those go.
Yeah, we did one at Underbelly, which was super cool. Felt like a rock star.
It was very cool, actually. There's something about I've been going to the Fringe since I was like 16, and like when I first went up, I always thought it was like all the really cool people were at Underbelly, right? And you go in and you sit in another like 50-person venue that's full of damp, and watch someone do stand up to like maybe 12 people, and you're like, yeah, this is the cool place. But like walking into that venue, like especially when we walked in the side and the door marked staff only, and I was like, oh my god, we're going into the cow.
So
it wasn't a cow anymore, though.
It's not a cow anymore.
It's just purple.
The local residents complained that it was ugly, which obviously it is. It's a massive purple cow, but that's the joy of it.
Is this just South Bank or is this Edinburgh as well?
Oh, the South Bank one. I think they might have got rid of the cow in Edinburgh as well.
But then it doesn't make sense. Underbelly. What are you under then?
Because that whole cow theme.
All those cow puns have now been lost.
Yeah.
Just call it under. Under the stage.
So here talking about B-Movie, which is your choice, Ciara.
I picked B-Movie.
Can you tell us why you chose it and give us a 2-minute synopsis?
So I picked B-Movie actually because I was reading some Netflix stats, and I read in these stats that there is a person who exists in this world who watched the B-Movie 357 times in 1 year. That was the year of 2017. And there is actually another person from Spain who has seen it 281 times. And I watched it when it came out at the cinema. And I think I really enjoyed it, but obviously forgot about it because, people forget. And then I thought I'd watch it again after reading those stats. I was like, what has drawn someone to that, to see it so many times? So Bee Movie is about a bee, obviously. The bee's called Barry B. Benson the Bee. And it is a film about a bee who doesn't want to work in the hive for the rest of his life. So he escapes from the hive with some hench bees called the pollen jocks. And he makes friends with a human, or falls in love with a human. No one can quite figure it out. So,
what do you mean no one can quite figure it out?
I mean, it's a topic of like interest in the film. Like,
sure.
I don't know what that relationship is. Anyway, so he meets this human. He realizes that humans have stolen all of the honey from the bees. So he decides to sue the human race. And that actually is what the film is about. I'm not lying.
No, that's true. Helen, what are your thoughts on Bee Movie? Had you seen it before?
I had not.
Well, okay.
Oh, God. I'm so sorry to have put you through it.
I had not seen this. It had never been on my radar.
Had you heard of it before?
I'd heard of it,
yeah,
and gone, what is this movie? Who is the audience for this film?
Me.
So it came out when? 2007? So
Mm-hmm.
how old were you when you saw this one?
I was in year 7. So I was 11. It's a perfect film for an 11-year-old me. Didn't know much about the world then.
I mean, so many questions about this film, but also I think you probably forgot about it because it's quite unremarkable in any way.
All the bee puns.
Is it unremarkable? Or is it just like, why? Why?
So I think I was
So
expecting
many
it to be
questions.
funny, which it isn't. Which
You're looking at me for help. You keep on talking.
I mean, who is this film for? I don't even think it knows who this film's for.
It's for no one but like people on the internet who take the piss out of it, I think.
Because the film was so uninteresting. The stories and the thing about the guy or person who watched it 357 times and the person who printed out the entire script onto a t-shirt, and the video where you watch it and every time someone says bee, it speeds up, and the whole thing about the bestiality, the relationship, is way more interesting than the actual film. I mean, why is Ray Liotta on Jars of Honey? Why are bees driving cars? Yeah.
Why don't humans run all the time? It's a question, That's what the...
Yeah. Why would you run all the time? Because it takes up energy.
I mean, I can't run, so I really understood that. It really sat with me,
That's probably your endearing memory from when you watched it as a kid.
Yeah.
But did you enjoy it as a kid? Or did you find it a bit boring?
I honestly can't remember, but I think I did enjoy it. I'm quite a simple person, so...
I didn't watch this one as a kid. I came to it first, I think about...
Last week when Ciara May was watching.
No.
I forced everyone to sit down.
I came to it a few years ago on quite an atrocious hangover. I was watching it with my housemate and my then girlfriend, and I think it was like the experience of it in that state of like half sleepy friends. It's so baffling a film.
It's so weird.
Yeah, and the bee puns are so relentless that I actually came out of it from that hangover like with fond memories of it. I mean, I should have the litmus test should have sort of been ticked by my girlfriend at the time, finding it like bordering on terrifying.
Why do you say terrifying? Where was the fear from?
I think it was like the frenetic changes in pace.
Sure.
She found quite anxiety inducing. The sort of, I guess the raw quantity of bee puns. Like you sort of, when you...
How could that be?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, you get that. Some people's reaction to a pun is like, oh, very clever. Some people's is like an out loud groan. And hers was every time, but they're so thick and fast. Like, if any of these jokes were funny, right, the gag rate of this film would
It'd be higher than Airplane.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Like, the fact that Jerry Seinfeld wrote this is something I find like really confusing.
I think this is the thing that attracted me to it in the first place, because I love Jerry. I think he's like a fantastic guy, and he doesn't do films generally. So the fact he came up with this idea, I should say, I think the first time I watched this was last year when I went to Australia and I was watching it with my cousins-in-law, nephews-in-law, I don't know, maybe just nephews. And the youngest is like 6, 11 and like 15. And they like, the youngest was like, he was loving it, every single bit of it. And I was just like, I can see they're enjoying it. That's fine. It's for them. But why is Jerry Seinfeld written and filmed for them? It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't kind of tally. Then it does the kind of twist into the law bit, which must be so confusing for anyone who's a child. Because at the start, you're just like, bees flirting around and making bee gags.
Yeah.
All blah, 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 blah. Oh, there's a talking bee, and the adult understands it. And there's a bit where the bee is shaking the hand of the lady, and the gardener's like, what the hell's going on here? So it's called kind of wacky, crazy, fantastical. But then it doesn't really tally with everything else. And like I say, why is Ray Liotta in the film, and why is he on a jar of honey? Maybe they're trying to get Paul Newman died at that point or something. Were they trying to do that kind of thing?
But he's an award winner in as well, isn't he?
Award-winning honey.
Award-winning, yeah, honeymaker. Well, I get the sense that, because Seinfeld's traditionally a short-form writer.
Yeah.
It does honestly feel like a film that has been written in sort of like 4 states of mind across it. It's almost like he's written like these 4 parts of a film, maybe a couple of years apart.
Yeah, they don't
and had
add
a completely different action to it.
Yeah.
Like, because you start off with, just like bee japes. Like when you start the film with like, I really actually enjoy the opening sequence.
Yeah.
When I was sat down to watch it for this, I was like, since I watched it on a hangover, I looked it up in the course of approaching this, and I was like, oh, it's actually been quite critically poorly received. I wonder what I'll make of it, because sometimes you disagree with the critic. And then the first sort of 20 minutes of it, I was like, this is fun. Like, this is just a fun film. I can see why kids would like it. It's like aimed at the right place.
Coming of age movie for bees.
Coming of age movie for bees. Like and like the bee puns are a bit cringe, but they kind of work, and the sort of visuals of how that bee colony works are all really fun, and they all really work. And then it makes this kind of weird gear change when they leave the hive, where it starts trying to do some sort of social commentary through bees, where I feel like it again, it's like that thing of like, it's almost like he'd gone, right, I've written the bee colony bit, so I'm just going to go do some stand-up for a while, and I'll come back and then write the next bit of the film when I've had some ideas. And then it has this almost like Trumbo-esque sort of socialist backbone to it as you get into the final part of the film, and the whole lawsuit, and like kind of challenging the hegemony and the status quo.
It could have been good. It could have been good, and then it all went downhill. It ruined it.
But then it's after when they win the lawsuit, then it goes just proper dark, because then all the flowers die.
Yeah,
colonies collapse, flowers die, and you're like, oh well, I shouldn't have messed with the status quo because I didn't know what I was doing because I'm a little bee.
Silly
Barry.
And
you're like, well, dude, that doesn't. You should have courage and convictions. I think that's the point where it's not the point. I lost it me a fair bit earlier, but you just kind of think what story are you trying to tell at this point?
Yeah. The moral doesn't fit. The end of the film doesn't fit with what they were telling the whole way through, the whole cult case and everything.
Yeah,
and they just go back to working again,
but sort of in harmony. It feels like what Seinfeld landed on. It was like he was sort of exploring his political leanings as he was writing it, and he kind of went, actually, we need real communism for bees. and then when he won the court case, it was like, oh, actually, obviously I need to show that communism hasn't worked everywhere. All the flowers must die. And then it sort of ended up at like third way Tony Blair Labour at the end of it.
Let's talk about, we've touched on, we've not just touched on, but the bee puns. They were, like you said, relentless. Because if it was just that first 20-minute segment where it's talking about, I remember that time I took a gap year or gap day and like toured the hive. That was such a great day, and all that kind of nonsense, and having the graduation like every 15 minutes, and like bees dying every 15 minutes, all that kind of rigmarole. But if that had stopped after the first 20 minutes, and then kind of did the gear shift then, but they just kept going all the way through the film, and it just became so tiring. Yeah, exactly. Just so tiring.
It's a knackering film, isn't it?
And also, for me, when I start judging the physics of a film, just thinking, well, this makes no sense whatsoever. It's because you are disengaged from it right from the start. And when all the bees are helping this plane lift.
Oh, I hate that bit.
And like dancing around this petal formation on the runway, I just thought, this is dumb. This is like proper. Yeah. This is a dumb thing that's happening in this film.
They should have just ended it after the court case. That's my belief. Like, I think it is stupid, but like it ends in a good place there. But then they just fuck it up.
That's when
Bees
they
can't even do that flower formation, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because they're black and yellow all the way through, so they can't change their colours.
Yeah, they can't.
They're not chameleons. Helen, you've been quite quiet.
They're not fireflies.
Are you just
I mean,
furious?
if it had have ended at the court case, it would have been at least 30 minutes shorter.
Yeah, it
Then
could have
it
been
would've been.
like a really weird, annoying bee pun short film. And everyone would have forgotten it, but it wouldn't have become the internet sensation that it has become. If that
It would not. I mean, this kind of reminded me a little bit of The Room, in that it's kind of got.
Oh, it's not as bad as it's not so bad.
it's not as
Brave.
good as that.
Yeah.
But it's that kind of. It's acquired that sort of weird status where.
If this came on in Prince Charles, I don't think anyone would go and see this.
Would you go and see it?
I wouldn't go. I personally, I don't think I could ever watch it again. I did. See, I watched the thing. I did watch like 10 to 15 minutes of it before. It was just as he met his human friend, the bee bit, with my friend. We watched it, and it was all bee puns, and we found it funny. And then when I had to watch it again to finish it, to remember what happened, I was pained, and I didn't like the ending.
I mean, also,
It's just so weird.
Renée Zellweger is awful in it.
Which one's
and
she?
I hate
all she
her.
does is provide a voice.
Is she the main lady?
Yeah.
And her husband's so annoying. Why is she with him?
Were they married? Is that what the?
Or her boyfriend,
I couldn't work out what the
her
relationship
side
was.
piece. I mean, she dumped him for a bee, so.
And there's that whole thing about him printing his CV out on a leaflet.
And she rips it up to save the bee. Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb. I feel it was just.
But someone apparently has watched this film 357 times.
And another one, 281. So I don't know why.
And that was in 1 year. So what happened on those 9 days when they didn't watch it? What?
I bet it was those people off YouTube who are making them weird videos, you know? It must be. Who
so
else could it be?
Explain these weird videos. You said that every time they say B, it speeds up. So what does that? Does that work? That concept sounds odd to me.
I can give you a rundown because
Sure.
I love these.
Have you watched the bee movie one?
Yeah. It's. I mean, honest. I've seen B movie now. I think 4 times, and 2 of those times have been in some way a weird YouTube video. And one of them, the one you're talking about, it speeds up by what is it 15% every time the word B.
Oh, right. So it keeps
Just
speeding up and speeding up and speeding up. So it just goes faster and faster and faster.
And due to the sheer quantity of bee puns in this film, I don't actually know how many. What
He doesn't leave the hive before it gets silent.
Yeah,
That's-
before it becomes so fast that the human ear can't hear it. And it's over in about 4 minutes.
I will. That sounds good, actually.
Yeah. It really improves the film.
Yeah. I think I'd recommend that's the way to watch it.
Yeah.
So without
Definitely.
having
And
watched
you know
that
the-
already, I'm saying well done, internet.
Another line where he goes, "Do you like jazz?"
Yeah.
There's quite an amazing one where it's that line on its own being played in a loop, but then the first one happens and it happens again, and then there's 2 of them happening at the same time, and then it goes up in the Fibonacci sequence on a loop forever until eventually you've got about 12 million Jerry Seinfeld saying "Do you like jazz?" at the same time. Very, very slightly out of sync.
Sounds harrowing.
And it's complete. It's terrifying.
I know what I'll be doing before going to bed tonight.
Yeah.
Watching that.
Where are you guys on, first of all, Jerry Seinfeld generally, but also, I mean, this is a DreamWorks vehicle. I can't think they must have thought much behind it, apart from the fact Jerry Seinfeld came up with the idea, one of the biggest comedians, actors, celebrities ever. I don't know, that must have been the long and short of why this got made.
Yeah.
I mean, surely.
I have no idea.
You know, I didn't know nothing about Jerry.
There's so many questions.
No, I'm not really, no.
No.
It wouldn't. This is probably why I've never really had much interest in it.
In the film?
Yeah.
You got to imagine he gives a good pitch, Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's obviously great. He's a great talker, great in a room. So you can imagine him coming in with a A4 sheet of paper and going like, "I've got it.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Here's the B movie."
Why did he pick bees though? It's
Because there's so many puns.
There's
Yeah.
just so much.
I mean, there's so many. I didn't know there could be that many.
B, literally every time you say B.
That I wasn't even trying on that one.
So this time was when a DreamWorks film came out, my head kind of like dropped a
Groaned.
bit. Yeah, it's just like, they're trying to do Pixar, they can't do that. They're just not as good. Why even trying? So even as much as I love Jerry Seinfeld, I hadn't really seen it until, like I say, a couple of years ago, last year, because I just thought it doesn't make any sense, and it looks. Even then, it didn't look that good. I just watched Toy Story 4, and that looks out fucking standing. I know it's been a lot of time since then, But Toy Story 1 looked great. All the Pixar stuff looks great. And it's only since How to Train Your Dragon, I think, DreamWorks have worked out how to make a good-looking film. Animation.
Shrek was good, though.
Prince of Egypt.
What? I've not even seen that.
That is the best film that's ever been
Is it?
made, and I'm not saying that lightly.
Did you see that when you were 11 as well?
I think that's the film I've maybe watched the most times because my parents are really religious. So they were like, you can watch this. It's education. Moses. It's got some great songs. I think they should make it into a stage musical.
I've not seen it. So.
You've not... Andy!
Why? What?
Prince of Egypt! It's the only good thing... Well, no, one of the best things that DreamWorks have made.
Is it on Netflix?
It is not.
Oh, that's a shame.
I would have picked that.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know why I picked this. I'm so sorry, guys.
No, but
sorry.
I think it's a valid reason. You loved it when you were a kid, or you saw it when you were a kid and wanted to see if I think that does...
Yeah.
I do really love the bravery of not rewatching it before you watch it. I mean, like...
I watched that 10 minutes and I was like, there's so many puns in this. Like, it's going to be good. And then I watched the rest of it. And I had to go through the pain of watching that 10 minutes again.
It does... Like, the start of it looks like it could be a good film. And then it just...
It just gets so weird. I think they gave up with it or something, and they were like, "We just do whatever," you know.
Yeah.
There's that really weird bit when they make a joke about having a suicide pact as well.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Shouldn't be in there.
Is that to do with their stingers? Isn't it? Like the fact that it rips. Like.
Yeah, he's like, "I'll sting you,
and then you'll tread on me."
You tread on me, and she's like, "You'll die twice," and he's like, "Oh." And that's it. Lol.
Oh my god.
Death jokes.
Like the thing is, part of me thinks if it was all that, and you had a kind of like almost Rick and Morty-esque kind of subversion
for adults.
Subversion of the kind of Pixar classic.
Yeah.
You might have a film that Jerry Seinfeld could write very well. But the problem is, like if you watch old Seinfeld, like it's great, but bits of it do not date well. Like
Well, like mid-90s sitcoms do not. A lot of them, their heart was in the right place at the time.
They're not especially sensitive.
Yeah,
like that was the sort of era where like saying the unsayable was kind of cool and fun.
Yeah,
and then obviously when you try and translate that writing style for kids, saying the unsayable is something that you can never put a PG certificate on, and so you can imagine like a lot of the humor it's really tricky, and. Like, also, you can't really write a film about nothing in the same way that Seinfeld...
Yeah, I mean, Seinfeld, they're essentially vignettes, so like 20-minute long episodes.
Yeah.
You could expand nothing to 20 minutes with all the casts of characters that they have in there. But even Seinfeld himself doesn't really have... I don't know, he hasn't got a presence so much in this, has he?
No.
Even the main B character doesn't have them. And I can't think of the names of any of the Bs, apart from Chris Ross Mosquito. And he comes in to do some mosquito puns.
But
so many puns.
Aren't the mosquito puns such a breath of fresh air?
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of like even celebrity voices, it's just really unremarkable.
It's lacking, isn't it?
And just really...
And when you said Renée Zellweger, I was like, what? I didn't even know who she was. Who else was in this film?
Matthew Broderick?
Shall we IMDb it?
I can only assume he's the idiot boyfriend. Idiot husband.
Sting's in it. Is it the actual Sting doing the voice of Sting?
Yeah, that was a weird thing as well, wasn't it?
Sting.
He just wanted the pun. Like, it's
did.
just all for the puns.
I mean, but the thing is, if that happened in Airplane, you'd be like, yes.
No, but Airplane would have thought it through.
It's so surrounded by terrible stuff.
So Matthew Broderick, who's Adam Clayman, I don't know who that is. John Goodman, Chris Rock, Kathy Bates. See, a lot of these...
Ray Liotta playing.
Oh, yeah, Larry King. That was the funniest bit when he was like
saying, Larry King is a good bit.
I forgot about that.
God, Oprah's in it.
By the way, do you know there's another Larry King looks just like you, same kind of sharp shoulders and stuff. I thought that was generally the best bit.
Oh yeah, and then
Oprah played Oprah.
I think one big problem, I think, Helen, as you're saying, is that a lot of these names, a lot of these voice names, don't have that much of a prominent voice. Mm. So. Chris Rock, of course, but John Goodman even, Matthew Broderick's voice is a bit of a nothing kind of voice, isn't it? It doesn't really...
Who does he play?
I think John Goodman is the judge, is that right? Or the factory owner?
Well,
maybe he's the judge.
Factory owner.
Factory owner.
Yeah, he plays a human.
So it's just, yeah.
One of the bees?
Let's see. We don't know. We don't know who he plays.
So, you know...
Oh, no, is that his friend?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, and that
I didn't
cousin.
even know he had a name.
And that cousin. Yeah.
I was like, the bee mate.
Oh my
Like,
god, these quotes out of context are awful.
And these,
didn't die.
that thing with the cousin is just so odd as well.
Kira,
Yeah.
shall we do a dramatic reading of a couple
Yes,
of Adam
please.
Flayman's quotes?
Yeah.
Do you want to play Adam or Barry?
Oh, you pick.
Hang on, I'll do Barry then. Go on.
Okay. Wow, she looked hot.
She's my cousin.
She is.
Yes, we're all cousins.
And then he wants to shag his cousin like 5 minutes later, and I'm like, you just told him off for that.
Yeah, because they're all bees.
And all those incestuous bees. Right, before we go to the scores, guys, let's see. Are we Pixar guys or DreamWorks guys? I know what the answer is.
DreamWorks for the Prince of Egypt. Surely. No, I mean, it's got to be Pixar, hasn't it? I mean, how many DreamWorks films can we name right now?
How to Train Your Dragon 1.
How to Train Your Dragon 2.
How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden Kingdom.
How about really good ones?
Shark Tale.
How to Train Your Dragons.
Shark Tale.
Mate, don't rewatch that. You're gonna...
Really? I loved that as a child as well.
No.
I think I got it.
There's a really good bit in it where they do a car wash underwater
Yeah,
and it makes no
that
sense.
is so good.
But,
They have a
like,
lava lamp.
Yeah, but the rest of it is
Is it? I'm not going to watch it again then.
not great.
DreamWorks or Pixar, Andy?
I mean, I want to, like, just to be a contrarian, I want to mount a defense of DreamWorks. I'm really trying to pull it together here. Maybe like, so Shrek 1 is a good film. Mm-hmm. Shrek 2...
But do you want to watch Shrek 1 again?
Fine.
Now someone says, do you want to watch Shrek 1? What's your... See, that sigh.
Yeah, but I think I have the Shrek 2 soundtrack, right, in the car.
Really?
Yeah.
That surprises me.
It's absolutely brilliant. Like it's all just like
Got
covers
Smash
of
Mouth on it, or is that the first one?
yeah,
That's
Smash Mouth on the first one.
Okay.
But in Shrek 2,
believer.
it's basically the whole album are a bunch of artists doing covers of each other's work.
Right.
So give it all kind of like a new, fun, fresh feel, and it works really nicely. It's a really great soundtrack.
I might
album.
check it out, guys.
The film is fine. It's fine. Shrek 1 was better. But at the time,
I like Puss in Boots.
Yeah, Puss in Boots was great.
Yeah.
Antonio Banderas, like rocking around.
Gingerbread Man.
Gingerbread Man, fun character, good gags. Yeah, Pixar. Mate.
Helen, do I need to ask?
I really, really, really struggle with DreamWorks films, with all of them.
Given How to Make...
I haven't seen them.
They are legit.
Okay.
Like
maybe
it
this
was
is the kind of like I
was that-
didn't really like Shrek. I found it just so irritating, and the films that I've seen of theirs, I've just been really like, ugh. I really don't like it. I just don't like their storytelling, and I don't like the jokes.
But yeah,
but also I think I'm quite a bit older than you, so I think I was just nowhere near the demographic to have watched them the first time round.
But that's what I was trying to work out the
found
demographic for this, because it doesn't make sense
No.
for kids.
I mean, the first half is for children.
What
The
B
second half
movie?
is for
Yeah.
lawyers. And then the final bit is
It's for no one.
for no one.
It is for no one, the whole film.
It doesn't make any sense.
It's quite
that's
an
what-
impressive bit of Brechtian alienation, the whole film. Like, I think we should actually put it up in league with many of
Best
the
of
sort
Chekhov?
the new wave of French films and like
I think that is the thing that annoys me the most, because I just don't understand.
Because
who it's for.
like with Shrek, a lot of the jokes are so adult, but
Are you talking DreamWorks generally?
yeah, I think that's the thing. And obviously Shark Tale is all, there's no way that your average like 8-year-old would have seen De Niro's back catalogue or
Yeah.
anything,
To care that,
or
De Niro's
to
in it.
get why it's funny, and
Yeah.
yet they still kind of enjoy it because it's, I don't know, a shark. I don't really know.
do you think they're
lava
more
lamps.
aimed at the dads than the kids? Like, 'cause I always
It
get the sense that
must
DreamWorks films
be.
are aimed at the dads and not the mums as well, which is something I kind of is a bit tricky.
I think
And then
that's where Pixar does play it well, because they do aim it for the dual audiences, and
Yeah.
they're not as kind of fanar for the adults.
Yeah, they're not as crass, and it's less kind of fart jokes, I think.
Mm.
And the Pixar ones have aged better because they do less kind of really sort of the moment pop culture references.
I do honestly 100%. I had not watched the first How to Train Your Dragon because of the DreamWorks stench, but then I saw it on a plane, and it's one of those plane movies you start watching and you're like, oh shit, this is really good. And then the second one, like, not completely floored me, because it's shot by Roger Deakins, quote unquote. So his like, it looks outstanding. Looks absolutely like jaw-droppingly amazing, and the story is just brilliant. So I do say bye, sayonara to the rest of DreamWorks, because I don't think anyone's put a good bid in for a good one. Yeah. But I think How to Train Your Dragon 1, 2, and 3 are like amongst the best of animated films.
Absolutely never watch.
And I've just checked
the How to Train Your Dragon animated series.
Yeah, that's on Netflix. I just thought I don't want that.
Don't
so
touch it.
is that the film or is that the series then on Netflix?
On Netflix, it's the series.
So the film isn't on there.
It wasn't when I last checked, but you can quite easily tell because the film will be like 90 minutes long, whereas the series will be like 20.
I need to watch it.
That's it then.
Oh, is it there?
Yeah.
Well, try it. Have
Okay.
a watch. Report back to us. Right, I'm obviously Pixar. Right, let's go to the scores. Okay, Ciara, you chose a film. This is our spreadsheet.
Okay.
Flex your business with an American Express Business Gold Card. You'll earn 4 times membership rewards points on your top 2 eligible spending categories, like transit and electronics, each month, on up to $150K in combined purchases per year. Plus, you can now earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at AmericanExpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold, built for business by American Express.
Spreadsheet of Dreams to give it its full title.
Love the spreadsheet.
Let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, Ciara, you chose it. So out of 5, how highly would you recommend B-Movie 2?
To a normal person.
You can quantify it how you want.
I wouldn't want to recommend it to someone for them to think that I actually genuinely enjoy it. So I'm going to give that a 1.
Oh.
No, a 2. I feel bad.
Why? On who?
Because there's so many puns. Like
Seinfeld doesn't care. He's got his comedians in cast.
Apparently there is some talk of a sequel.
No, they're never going to do that. They never will.
What they call it? B-Movie B.
The B-side.
Oh, there you go. They've literally just thought of the
its
title, which
title
you've just
now.
given them. And some
Like 10%.
DreamWorks executives are just there.
If you got
Bankrolling
approached to be the voice of a bee, would you do it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
you
you
go.
definitely.
I've always wanted to be the voice of a squirrel. I think I've got a perfect voice.
There's no reason why there could not be a squirrel in this
Yeah, absolutely not.
universe.
Squirrel doesn't rhyme with anything, though.
Yeah.
So you can't really do many puns with
Is
it.
Over the Head
Coral?
DreamWorks?
I think it is actually. I'm not
Yeah.
seeing that either.
That's not terrible. Good soundtrack again. That's Ben Folds wrote it back to front. Very
Okay,
good.
okay, that's interesting.
Films, fine.
They're all just fine.
Yeah.
Prince of Egypt, though, guys, seriously.
I don't believe you.
I don't.
And
It's so good. The music is so good.
that's their attempt to do a decent old school Disney thing, isn't it?
Yeah, like a.
I think just do your own thing. Sorry, Andy, your recommendability score after a flyer with 2 from Ciara.
I mean,
I think
just
it
so you
has-
can't have anything less than a 0. I just thought I should say that the maximum is 5, and you can't have less than a 0,
I
just
wonder
in
where
case you were going there.
Helen's leaning for this.
The thing is, I think there's a certain curiosity value to this film. Like, it's not entirely without fascinating elements.
I thought you were going to go into what's taming this, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's not without flaws. It's full of flaws.
It is a flaw.
But and for that reason, I think there's a certain type of person where I go, wait, but have you seen B-Movie though? Like if you've got a morning when you're hungover to waste, like watch it,
Sure.
and then report back to me about what you thought. Like, because that, like, and on that, I can't give it a 0.
Sure.
Would I recommend it to anyone who I want to still be friends with after? No. So I'm gonna give it a 1. Can we do decimals?
You can do decimals.
I'm gonna give it a 1.8 because I don't think it quite makes a 2.
Helen.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend this to anyone that I know, but it is so weird. I mean, I thought it was really boring as well, but for the kind of weirdness factor, and I'm just thinking, what is this person who's seen it 357 times like?
I don't ever want to meet them.
I wonder if it gets better on repeat.
I think you'd go a bit insane, wouldn't you?
But you
Maybe
have-
it's for their cat or something.
But you do have those people who just like have done a marathon every day for a year. And you have those people who just have to
Yeah.
achieve something, even though a lot of the Guinness World Records are nonsense. And you kind of think, well, why have you done that?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do it, but why did you do that?
Maybe there's some like weird bug on their laptop where when they press like the on button, it turns on Chrome and loads up the movie.
Or and then it like straps them into their bed and keeps their eyes open so they can't move until...
Well, like, the stats can't tell if they're actually looking at a screen the whole time. That's why.
I like the way they actually count it as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really weird. I mean, if you have seen it and you're listening and you're thinking, should I watch it again? Yeah, go on, watch it again, see what you think of it. If you think I want to give that a go after listening to this, then please do. But we have warned you. I mean, I can only give it a 1.
Yeah, only for the morbidly fascinated, I think.
It's just...
I'm going to join Andy on 1.8. I saw the kids who, when they were watching, they really enjoyed it. So that's who I'd recommend it to. And it's one of those things where if I had kids or I was with kids and we didn't want to watch the film, but we wanted the kids to be entertained for a bit and we could just go and talk about something else over there, then yeah, give them B-movie.
That's a great shout.
But if someone puts on Toy Story, I'm going to sit down and watch it with the kids because I want to watch Toy Story.
Yeah.
So it's like a film you kind of go...
This serves a purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Joe's
long car journeys or something.
Yeah.
But I can't remember what that happened when it came to the law scene and also the world destruction of flowers. I think that must have... Maybe I left the room at that point. But
there's the bit where his mate stings him and he doesn't die.
Yeah, I'm really upset that he didn't die.
Oh.
Like the whole point is...
They die.
They die.
Yeah.
Repeat viewing score, Ciara.
Repeat viewing score. I mean, when I watched the first 10 minutes alone... I would give that like a 4 because I was really enjoying it. But when I had to watch that 10 minutes, when I had to finish the film to remember what happened in order to do this today,
I feel like there should be some kind of counselling session after this for everyone.
I really, really regret picking it because I feel like
you've wasted
there's
your opportunity.
So many films I haven't seen yet, and I've now watched this twice and a bit.
Yeah.
And I just wish I hadn't. So I don't know. I'd kind of want to tell people I know to watch it again just so they know how bad it is. You know what I mean? Or maybe they can watch the YouTube video where it goes silent halfway through. Maybe that would be better for them. I'd say repeat viewing score. I would give a 1.21.
By the way, the number for the Samaritans, if you're listening, 116.
I wonder why you're checking on your phone. Andy.
So I was thinking about this, and I was going to give it an out of nowhere 4.5.
What?
For all of the reversionings on YouTube.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because they are way more entertaining than the film.
They don't count.
And like they are a great rabbit hole to go down. But that is not the original cut of the film. And so, like, unlike maybe, like Blade Runner, where you can excuse there being lots of different versions that are worth rewatching.
Sure.
There's none of the depth in them particularly. They're just all wacky ways of making Jerry Seinfeld so different. And so it's lost 4 points in that technical exclusion from me, and I'm going to give it a 0.5 for a rewatch. I never want to see it again. I was halfway through watching it last night, and I said,
"You texted me like, what have you done to me? Why have you picked this?" I was like, "I'm so sorry, I haven't watched it. I hadn't watched it yet at that point last night. I hadn't finished it. I was like, what have I done?"
Helen.
I mean, I barely made it through in one go. I didn't make it through in one go. I had like 2 days break in between the first, I don't know.
I'm so sorry.
Just the thought of having to watch it again. I just wouldn't be able to do it. 0.
I'd go for a 1.
There's no way you'd watch this again.
What do you mean? I've just given it a 1. I'd watch it. I'd put it on again. Like I say, if those kids in the corner, like I said, like you were saying, the first kind of few minutes kind of joy you up, boss you up a bit, don't they? But
yeah, and then
then it comes. I think as soon as he meets, maybe is it as soon as they go out the hive? Really, that's where it becomes properly stupid.
It's as soon as he speaks to the human, that's where it's just because there's some cool shots or whatever where he's like flying through the cartoon New York, and it's like, ooh, everyone's trying to kill him. He's just a bee. And then, nah, man.
Yeah. After, do you like jazz? Then that's the point that should end. Yeah,
it's gone at that point.
So yeah, I'd give it 1. I'd give it 1.
What's the lowest score ever, Kobe?
We'll get to that later.
I hope it is.
Small screen score. Ciara.
I mean, I don't know why I enjoyed watching it at the cinema when I was like 11.
Were you with friends or were you with your parents?
I'm pretty sure I went with a group of friends.
Sure. So that's a bigger thing in itself, isn't it? When you're that age.
You've paid for a ticket.
Well, your parents paid for a ticket.
Well, yeah.
Popcorn.
But at least makes you feel more invested. You've gone somewhere. You've got popcorn.
Yeah.
And we used to get
Sugar
McDonald's
drinks.
afterwards.
Probably
as well.
really hyper off all that sugar.
Yeah.
With all your mates.
Yeah.
Probably gains a lot from being in the cinema, doesn't it?
And I was an easily entertained child, so I can see why I feel like I did enjoy it. I definitely would never pay money to watch it. If, as you say, if it was on in the cinema, I would not go. It was, I think it'd be all right as a hangover film, like on your lap, where, you know, you're ordering food at the same time and you're not paying attention and you've got 11 other tabs open and you're looking at your phone and chatting to your housemate and not really watching it. So it's perfect for the small screen. I'd give it, for the small screen score, I'm gonna give it a 3. That's the highest one so far.
Andy.
I mean, you can't disagree with that logic, can you? Because, like, I sort of joked that the sort of hyperness of going to the cinema must have added something to it, but actually, I don't really actually think it loses anything at all. I'd have happily actually just watched this on an iPhone on the way into work
In bed.
Yeah. But I can't say I actually enjoyed it. So it's gonna creep up to a 2.2.
Helen.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you'd want to see this at the cinema.
I did.
Unless you're a child.
Unless you're a child in 2007.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing on.
Yeah.
Which is probably the case.
I mean, people went to see it, I guess, at the cinema. Yeah, I mean, it is on Netflix if you want to go and find it there and, you know, have a go at beating the record, maybe.
Beating.
Ladies and gentlemen, we brought Ciara on to highlight, enunciate all the B puns, the inadvertent B puns. Thank you very much.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll go. 3 as well.
3. I'm going to go for 4. I think I can't imagine having seen it in the cinema, and I remember it coming out and just thought, I don't think that looks good.
Yeah.
Even though I like Jerry Seinfeld, so I'm abstaining. So I think it works fine on the TV screen. It's easy to drop on. Yeah. Engagement score.
I mean, actually, that score's entirely about how well it works on a TV as opposed to a film. It's not really a value judgment on the film, is it?
It's not necessarily a value judgment on the film.
I'm going to have to pull that up to a 3.2. I know.
I mean, it works so much better on a small screen than it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ciara, so engagement score.
Is this how well I'm engaged with it?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't enjoy it.
I disengaged from the film.
I was so. I mean, the first time, those first 10 minutes, you know, I was laughing away. I couldn't believe myself, and then engagement. I'm gonna give that I'm gonna give the first 10 minutes a 4, and then I'm gonna reduce that to a 2.5, maybe a 3.
Do you want to say 3?
I'm gonna say 3 because I was so confused about what was going on that sometimes I did pay attention, but most of the time I was thinking about other things.
Andy.
Spent more time texting Ciara than watching the film. But genuinely the first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it. I don't know what it was. It was about being really hungover. Or something. Yeah, but I was sat there watching it going, what is this? I'm having a great time enjoying how odd this is. It's my frazzled brain, something about it just like kind of made it work. So I can't actually give it under 1.
It could be like the Magic Roundabout for people who were on acid in the 60s.
Yeah. I mean,
So
I
this is
wasn't
a
on
hangover.
acid or
Yeah.
in the 60s. I was just, a bit sore from the pub. But
Can you remember what you were drinking? Was it just beer, or were you going into things like absinthe?
Where would we have been? I think we'd been at something like a kind of club night thing the night before, so it probably would have been Spirits.
Sure.
So I might still have been
a bit
drunk.
of a searing hangover on,
Yeah.
not just a dull one.
Yeah, and kind of sore feet. I remember having sore feet, and I remember like we had Domino's that helped it.
Nice.
And I think actually, as much as anything, it was just the like comedy value in someone else hating it so much, and, like kind of locked me in to like almost want to sell the film more to them. Like, that experience, like, wait, you're getting something out of it, and someone completely isn't. And rather than feeling like weird and insecure about it, you just lean in and go, "No, this film's brilliant." I think that's what I did.
Ex-girlfriend, you say?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not why.
Because of B-movie.
God, imagine. Like, it was quite a long time afterwards, but I can sort of.
That's where the
it
seed
began.
planted.
That's
cracks
the
began
first,
to
the
appear.
first crack in the
Beehive.
in the porcelain. Yeah, beehive is better. I'm gonna go for a. I reckon that first time I was probably engaged to a point of a 4, and the second time it was a 1. So what's the average there?
2.5.
2.5. Yeah, 2.5. Whack it in.
Helen.
I was just going to say, Andy, your story of like your first experience as Helen Zaltzman came on and picked a film that is a Bollywood film about a man who gets killed by mobsters and is reincarnated as a fly, and it's awful. And she picked it because she watched it the day after moving house, was it?
Yeah.
It's kind of a traumatic moving house experience, and thought it was the best thing ever.
So there's something about the sort of shifting baseline syndrome of what you find.
I think you
acceptable
had
compared to
the
what-
sort
how
of
you were
same
feeling.
experience of how you interpreted something.
Same trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that
Like
time
your
I
response
watched
to
the
it.
first 10 minutes, I was hungover as well, and I loved it. I was laughing.
Maybe
out
that's the
loud.
secret to this film. Like
a hangover
the
film.
sort of pairing note.
The
to this film.
borderline of being really drunk and really hungover.
Yeah.
And not okay.
So your score, Helen?
I was trying to think when I'd lost interest in a film so quickly, and it was a real struggle for me to get through this. I didn't even care what happened. Like, I did think at my break in between it, I thought, could I get away with not watching the rest of it and just kind of like either blag it? And then it's just like,
But you never know if it's going to take a
well,
upturn
and
later.
also it was like, well, given the weird shit that's already happened, like there's absolutely no way that this could end in like any normal way that it's gone before. But I mean, I just 0.5.
0.5.
Hmm.
I think I got a fair few emails done whilst watching this, whilst it's on in the background, and don't think I needed to literally actually look at the screen, apart from looking up every now and again to see
It
that
was
fat
still
lawyer like get stung by a tiny bee.
How weird was it when he came out in the
baby
thing?
stroller.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Odd, wasn't it?
That was so weird.
How many bee puns made it into emails that you're writing?
I don't know, maybe just vicariously or subliminally, probably a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe just bolding every single bee that I wrote. So you didn't need to pay attention to this. I think the first 15 minutes is up until he says, "Do you like jazz?"
Yeah.
It's quite an entertaining little ditty film, and then it just becomes like, what's going on? So I'm going to go for 0.5, like Helen. And that gives us an overall score of 1.81,
Woo.
which is not our lowest score.
Is it
Oh, what's
not?
lower?
Our lowest score is That Thing You Do, which is
Thing You Do.
1.7. But that is our second lowest score.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
god. I feel honoured to have picked it.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But you don't
Yeah.
quite get the booby prize, though, unfortunately.
No.
Oh.
I should have given a lower score.
So,
I should have given him a lower score. Damn it.
so we do go to Twitter before
Excellent.
we review the films before the session. And in this case, I always say we're reviewing B-Movie with Ciara Baxendale and Sound of a Goddard from Wooden Overcoats. Oh, sorry, Overcoats Wooden. Have you seen it? Give us your thoughts for an on-air shout-out on Flixwatcher and give us a review. We had one response. Ciara, do you want to read that response?
This person who is Death by Film Pod gave it a grand 1 star, and their review was in capitals, Jerry Seinfeld voice intensifies, and that's it.
Yeah. And I just wanted to make sure there was 1 star because sometimes people don't know how to work Twitter. And yeah, it is. I can't say I love the movie.
Oh my
This is one of my
god.
favourite Twitter reviews we've ever
It's
had.
brilliant.
Oh god.
Thank
I'm
you very
so
much.
glad I picked it.
Thank you very much. It's been entertaining.
It has.
Yeah. And it points us to push us to watch films that we haven't seen before. So, Helen, you haven't seen it before, so it's a new film you can say you've watched. Okay.
I mean, I remember you saying before, like, because I sent you a message going, like, is there a thing for picking a bad one and, like, enjoying it? And you were like, oh, generally it makes quite a bad podcast if you pick a bad film deliberately.
Yeah.
But this was picked in earnest.
It was.
That's what I love about
didn't
this.
pick it on purpose.
I know.
It was going to be bad.
And no, but I think it's made quite a fun.
Because
we're like together going like, what have we done to ourselves?
And I think that when it's a bad film, when people choose films because oh my god, it's so bad, we have to watch it. But I could tell, even though it was Anna that told me you chose B Movie, I could tell that you wanted to watch it because you were like, yeah, I haven't seen it for a while, but it might be cool to rewatch it. Yeah. On that bombshell, guys, Ciara, Andy, can you sign off by telling everyone who's listening, Jasper included, where we can find you online and where to find Wooden Overcoats?
I hope this has been a really good plug for Wooden Overcoats.
I can just say your other members of the Wooden Overcoats team have chosen better films.
Yeah, I kind of I've got a really competitive streak, and when I listened to the one with Beth and David, and they picked that amazing black and white film,
All About Eve.
All About Eve, yeah. And I was like, oh, I'd really love to beat that score. And then when he suggested B Movie, I was like, well, that one's not going to do it.
Andy, have no faith in me.
I mean, and this was when I genuinely still remembering it as a good film. I was like, like it's fun. We might win fun points.
You didn't discourage me, though.
I didn't. No, I don't discourage you. It's not my directing style. Got to see where things go.
It's really bad. Try again.
Okay, yeah, that is to be fair. Okay, so to do the wrap-up thing, I am at Sound of a Goddard on Twitter. I am at Radio Goddard on Instagram, although I rarely use it, so come to Twitter, please. And I make Wooden Overcoats, as well as a few other podcasts. Currently halfway through a series called No Passion, No Point for BBC 5 Live. It's good if you check that out. Over to Ciara.
Listen to Wooden Overcoats every day. My Twitter and Instagram are both at Ciara Baxendale, because I'm a simple woman.
Just keeping it easy for everyone else who wants to follow you.
You got there first.
Yeah, there's only one me.
Nice. Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks for coming on. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Enjoy listening to Flixwatcher podcast? Make sure you're subscribed wherever you listen to your podcasts. Why not leave us your 5-star review on iTunes and follow us at FlixWatcherPod on Twitter.
Thank you, Rachel Jordan, for editing this podcast and making it sound so smooth and slick and sweet. And thank you very much to Mighty People for the tunes that you all are enjoying now.